Hi Vlad, just looking over some of this here. There is a little bit of textile ratio discrepancy between some of the areas, like this area here and this area. I'll try to match them all with these ones a little bit. Distortion on here is minimal, but there is a little bit there. I think maybe it's because you're keeping them seamed with some of the other areas. I think when you have a 90-degree break, like on this corner, this side here, you probably could. Well, I guess it's not real bad. If this is a patterned roof where there's like metal vertical lines or something, then you're going to see this curvature the same way you see this curvature in the texture. So just make sure that you could potentially break this piece from there and just make that just perfectly undistorted. If there is. If it's just like a solid color, then you may be able to get away with it without this, but these wavy lines, if there's any vertical patterning, will definitely show up. What else? Okay, so there was another section here and here. These are, although they're hidden, they're kind of hidden in the back here. They are pretty distorted and pretty big. And I took a look at what they are, and you have it connected to this main part here. And basically the rule of thumb is if it's a break of a 90-degree angle like this, like here's the top and then here's the side, you can break them from the seams. They don't have to be part of that. In fact, it's better to take like maybe this whole section here and unwrap it, because it's kind of like a straight. I don't want to say, well, this is 90 to this, right? But it's not trying to be 90 to this also. You got to have only like two sides that you can do from. And in this case, it's either X or Y, but it's not X and Y and Z. On this one would be the Z. So it's not X, Y, and Z. It's just X and Y. Or if you were going to do this one, you could probably do this one, and that would be Z and Y, right? So you can choose two, but trying to do all three only works in like little small spaces like these windows and stuff like that. In the bigger spaces, it may become more noticeable. So I would take this part. Let me see if I can do all this here. I'll take this whole section here. And yeah, I would unwrap it to there, because that looks like it's on its own little thing. So I would unwrap this whole. I wouldn't go into here because that looks like it's on a different seam, but you could unwrap this whole section like this. So mapping, I'll do an unfold mapping, and it's going to look like just kind of a straight line. See how I did that? And you can see it here. The checkers are a lot more squared off, and if you wanted them to be matching the size of the other ones, I was just showing John this. What you do is you take and you kind of match your textures up in about approximately the same size, and then you move it over to it, and you try and get one of these edges to line up, right? So I'm going to take this left side edge here, and I'm going to try and get that to line up with that, and then I'm going to look at that. And then what we're going to do is just scale it up a little bit. Down, sorry, and then I'm going to move it over again, and that's pretty close, right? It's just a small change, but that's acceptable. That's an acceptable small change within that. And then this one, since it lays right there on that piece of that, which is let me see, tool break. I would take this piece here and see if I can find out where it goes when it connects to this. Probably these two, right? So these two vertices here are going to match with these, and that's going to show me a pretty big size discrepancy there. So I'll size that up and I'll put that there. I think this one matches with that. Nope, I gotta flip it, so I'm gonna take all these and I'm just gonna flip them horizontally. And now I have these two, which kind of match with that. And it's kind of a waste of space because it's a big negative space right there, but maybe there's windows or something there, right? I don't know what specifically goes in there. If, you know, it's still, these are still bigger. Oh, that's also distorted too. So let me just bring that down a little bit and make those a little bit more squared off. Okay. Something more like that. So this entire piece here becomes basically the same size as this. Basically the same size as this. These look, you know, look too very close. This can actually go with this. I don't know if you, yeah, and probably this part too, right? So probably do that whole side there, which is this, right? So I'll just, I'll break that from this piece and I will move the, why is all this moving? Oh, right, I got that selected. Let me see, where does this guy go? This, I think, can be broken from this piece right here. So tools, break, move that out of the way. Probably, let's see, what is that? That's the underside of that, but we already did that on this side. We just didn't do it on this side, so I'll just leave that be. But basically, you can take this piece and connect it to here, like this. I think that's what that's going to look like. Actually, it doesn't go to the inside one because it's here. It's on the inside. I mean, outside one because it's on the inside. So we're going to go like that. And I think that's correct. There should be a hidden vert here somewhere. Oh, it's over here. So I got to flip this. I don't know if you could see it. There's two here, and that represents those two over there. So I'm just going to flip that whole section there. And then I'm going to scale that down. And then I'm going to put that over to there. And it's a little bit distorted, so I'll just I'm not sure which one of these is distorted though. Hold on. Let's do that. And let's do that. And that looks like about correct. I'm gonna align those up like that, and then I'm gonna align those two, and then I'm gonna line those two and those two, so that's a straight line through there. Okay, and then I can weld these, and then this will bounce into this, and it'll make a really nice dark line here because it's all sharing the same seam, even though this looks like the seam is separated. I'm not sure why. I think it's probably because I got this side selected too that I didn't do. But you know, you can copy from this side over to that side. So this part here that I inadvertently distorted through that process, that's probably going to have to be, let me see, I can try and fix it. What is this part? I think that's separate, right? So what is this one now? Oh, that's the other side over there. So he's already accounted for because we're just going to replace him, right? Tools, break, and then just move him out of the way. So it's just this part that I need to focus on right now. And so let me see. I'll just remap that rather than trying to figure out the vertices and where they go and stuff. Let me see. I'll use a planar map. I'll use a Z view. Z, yeah. And I'll take off the normalize. Do that again. That's going to make it really. Whoa. All right. Let's try top-down view. Planar map. There we go. And now it's going to make it really big. And I'll have to bring it really small to even fit it back in here. Okay. And if I go back here, now I've got that, but the size of them's off still, so I'm just gonna kind of get them about the same size as these checkers here. Pretty close, right? Fairly close. If I zoom in, I get a little bit more refined control here. I'm just trying to line them up. They actually don't have to line up because I'm going to move this whole piece once I figure out where this guy is. So he's right here. I don't think I'm going to be able to hook him to that because, like I said, you can only do 2. You can't do 3. But these and this, you see, that inside here matches with this, but there's no way to do it because this L shape would get in its way. So you can't really, unless it's this side here. Hold on, maybe it is that side. Actually, it is. Yeah. So you could. That's it right there. So you could do it. Is that it? No, reversed. All right. So you could do it this way, right? And then that piece will be really dialed in, all the same size, right? So I'll just weld that. Weld. Okay, so now we got this whole big, weird, clunky section here, but that represents all of this in here, and they're all the same UV size. Now, normally we would want to try and scale it about the same size as these other checkers. These look like to be almost double that size, but because it's one of those things where you know, you can give it a little bit of allowance, right? So we'll probably keep it just a little bit bigger than this. So it doesn't have to be exactly that size, but because we don't want it to take up too much space, being that it's kind of an area that you don't see that well, right? So if I use up, you know, too many UVs on that, so I'll make it about this checker size here. And actually, I may even be able to find that piece and then seam that to that too, because it looks like there's an extension from there that will fit with that piece, right? Or I can use it from this one. I could do either way, but anyway, that's kind of how I would lay that. Or I just keep it separate. It's fine too. But we have some of these that are really super small and super fine detailed compared with these. You should only do this if there's like really a lot of detail on here. If not, then you want to avoid that. These pieces, let me see. You know, maybe this piece. Looks like it stops about right there. Maybe that piece would work better as a top-down planar map. Because currently it's set up like this. So you may want to consider just going top-down, right? And then planar mapping it. And then scaling that in, and then just finding a place for it on here where the UVs kind of match the other side. UVs, I'm kind of matching it with these ones right here. Oops, and then I'll just move him off to the side. He doesn't have to connect to these pieces, but this piece here could connect to that, because you see that, you know, you can share those two 90 degrees if you like. Whoops. Or you can share, you could share all of these. Well, I don't know, you can't really share all those, but you could share that piece to that if you like, you know, if it's easier. But it looks like it's already fine right here, and I'm not too concerned about this, even though typically you don't want to have that much stretching on that great of a distance when it's not represented that way in here. because the ambient occlusion will, it'll pool in the corner, but if it's a really long distance, it's going to stretch to halfway across that, and it's going to really darken in these windows a little bit too much. So how I would handle that is you could break this from this, and then you can pull those in a little bit further. So and where could you break that? You take these two edges right here and here and have those pieces go up from there. So I believe that is these two. So I'm going to just turn it around by reversing it, right? So it looks like this. And then I'm going to find this piece, and I'm going to go Tools, Break, and then I'm going to move that one over to here. I think that's sharing on this one. Okay. And then this one, same thing. Tools, Break. Oops, wrong one. Tools, Break. And then this one is going to move over to here. And just to check, vertice to vertice, let's look at this vertice. So I got to flip this because that's the wrong side. So I'm going to just flip it horizontal, and now when I select this vertice, it matches that one. Let's see this one. This one does already match that one, so I am just going to select all these and then just scale it down so it fits about the right area, and then move it over. Okay. And then for this part, there's a little bit of kind of awkwardness. I usually just take this whole entire line and do an alignment. The little bit of stretching that may occur from the resettling of that vertical line is very nominal. And then I'll take these two and then I'll hit them with the horizontal stretch thing. And then I'll go Tools, Weld, right? And now these two flow directly into here. And this is useful because this corner is going to pool, and it's going to have perfect ambient occlusion right in that section, which is really super visible, right? Like that compared to like way up in the top corner or something where you can't really see it. More so than up in here in the side corners, you kind of tend to see more of that. So that being said, let me see what the other areas are. I'll just try to get some of these textile ratios of these a little bit more in tune. I believe this entire section is probably a little bit too much comparatively to everything else, right? So I would go more like this, unless because that's a little bit closer to that. I mean, it's hard to judge because there's a little bit of distance between these two, but you can probably go like, I don't know, like this. Does that look a little bit closer? Something like. It's hard to see the size of the boxes. I would actually probably opt to, yeah, I don't know, that's probably okay. And then these ones, these looks like they could be a little bit bigger too, right? To better match with these, maybe not that big, maybe like that. A little bit of stretching going on through here, and I think that's this section through here. So you just have to find the right ones, and you can do that by selecting the vertices here. Like this vertice, it tells you exactly which one that is. And if you just grab from here and then move that, you see what's happening there? I'm going to undo so you can see it. So this stretches from here all the way over to here. You can just grab that and pull that this way until you get more of a square right there, right? And then we're gonna check some of these others. That one looks almost okay. I gotta see where the edge is on this side. Oh, that's a little bit far there. So I'll find that vertice, and then I will grab those and these. That's a little bit wide through there. So maybe it's these two. Yeah. And I just move those two over, and then that becomes a little bit more square rather than rectangle. A little bit tough from this angle, but basically it's this section here just needs a little bit more refinement, so it's not too stretchy, right? And then since this guy, he's about this big, and those triangles are about the right size. Well, they don't really match with the top ones now. These ones are, well, I don't know, they're pretty close, but hard to tell through this section here. This looks more compacted. Which one is that? Let me see if I can find that one. So it's compacted on this side, but on, oh wait, okay. Gosh, what did I do wrong here? There, I think that's more accurate. So that's about a square, because it's going across to a corner, like a little, almost like a 70 or 80 degree angle. There we go. It's a little bit tough to unwrap, you know, like all that kind of intricacy up and downs and stuff, but you get the idea. This area looks like it's a little bit too much, so we're gonna scale that larger to kind of match with the rest of these. These ones look more so than these, so we're gonna make these ones smaller. Or I mean, we'll scale them up. So it's this one, and I think it's this one. Yeah. So we're gonna scale those up a little bit, and you can join those two edges, right? That and that, without worrying about distortion. Excuse me. So we're gonna rotate that. So that these sides meet. I think this one, nope, is it this one? Okay, so this one goes here, so that means I gotta flip it. Excuse me. I'm not used to this much jabbering, I guess. All right, now I'm gonna flip that. And scale that to match that. And then that can sit with that like this. So these two will just flow into each other. Makes sense? You could even have this backside flow into that too. Tools, weld, okay. And then this backside, to select it, I'm gonna just find that polygon here, and this polygon, this one. And that's this part right here. Okay, and I'm gonna flip that upside down because I noticed it was selecting this part, which was represented at the top, so I can see that it needs to go this direction. And I don't know if it's left or right horizontal, so I'm gonna just do that first. And then I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna look, and it's corresponding with that vertice, so I gotta flip it horizontally, this part. Okay, and now that corresponds with that, that corresponds with that, and then I can glue this. And the less islands you have, the better. So try to find opportunities where you can get a few less islands in there, where it makes sense to without stretching. So for this, I'll just do these guys twice, and then I will weld those. And now I have this whole section here. When I highlight it, you can see that it's basically unwrapping this all the way across and down, right? I could probably get away with this side, which is going to come off here, and this side, which is going to come off here. And right now it's kind of sitting isolate right here, right? So if I take that piece, which is actually both pieces on either side. Oh, it's connected to this guy. Well, this guy isn't correct anyway, right? He's got this little piece that extends out here, so I'm going to lift that back up so I can get that to be a little bit closer, and then I'm going to take and break him off, tools break, and then I will come over here, and then I will separate these two, and then basically I got to find which one goes to which. So this one goes to here, so I'm going to 90-degree rotate him this way, like, whoops, wrong one, no, yes, that one, okay, this way, right? And I will scale him in, and I will move him here. And then this one I'm going to rotate counterclockwise so that that ends up there, and then I'm just going to check. So that corresponds with the bottom one, that must correspond with the top, so I'm going to flip them vertically. I don't think I did that on the other one, I got to double check it. So, yep, so he was already there, so he's the little blue vertice. Here's the one I selected, here's the corresponding one. So what I'll do is I can also do a target weld from there to there, from there to there, and from there to there, and from there to there. Whoops. Ooh, okay. So now I got this entire section here, which represents all of this. Now I won't try and make it flow into this, because then I would get stretching going from there to there, right? But for the rest of this, it works pretty good. This section and this section, well, you could, just keep it like it is, but he doesn't look correct in his current form. Like there's some stretching there. So what we're going to do, and I think the reason is because these are angled down and these are all the way up. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab those two corners. As soon as I find my polygon tool, here and here, and we're going to drag them down, and that's going to make the UVs on this go up and straighten that out. Now the only problem is the whole thing is a little bit long because it's compressing this. So I'm just gonna grab all of this, and I'm gonna remember this bottom part here. I'm gonna line it up with the bottom of this window so I don't lose my, and I'm just gonna scale it till I get squares, and then I will move this bottom part back down to the edge of this window where it was initially, so I don't stretch the other portion of this, which is on the other side. All right. And now we have nice good UVs through there. We have this whole section. So that's basically these two sections here. But you want to do kind of have, if you can find opportunity to have the islands connected, do it, right? Trying to connect this to either this or this, which are already connected, won't work because you can't do X, Y, and Z. You can only do 2 of 3 to get smooth. So if you try to do all 3, 1, 2, 3, then it won't work that way. So he's got to stay where he's at. Like he can stay, all of this can stay together, just like how you have it here. The only thing is a little bit of distortion there, and I think that distortion comes from this section here. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky because I think it's trying to blend into there. I think that's what that is. Yeah, so it's trying to blend into that. Maybe even better just to separate this out from this and don't try to share that edge right there. Or just try to fix the distortion in there a little bit. Let me see if I can do that by moving this and see. It's a little bit, I don't know what's causing that distortion. But I know that if we were to break this off from here, maybe we could break it off, tools break, then remap this section flat from this planar view, right? I'm gonna grow that. That didn't work. I'm gonna grow it this way then. Whoa, okay, that didn't work. I'll just manually select them all. So I know that if we can get in here and we can select all these elements. Gee, let's turn off the grid on that. I'm gonna upload this video, and then I'm gonna well, all right, just let me finish up here. So this is connected to this, but I think we can salvage that shared edge there. Let me try this first. So I'm gonna try going from here, from a, let me see, was it a left view? Maybe a right view? Yeah, okay, right view in my viewport. So I'm going to try and salvage that by remapping that from this direction, almost from this direction. I'm going to give it a slight tilt like this so that I get a balance between flat from here to here, right? So, you know, that's kind of like the shared point. All right, so I'm going to go, whoops. I'm going to go planar map, align to view. I'm going to take off planar map, and then I'm going to scale it way down because it's going to be huge. Okay. I think I had an extra edge in there that I probably shouldn't have got. And let me see, where does he share that with? He shared with this guy, which is that. All right. So, well, I'm only doing one side, I'm only doing the left side, so that's why that's like that. All right, I'm gonna break that piece away, just so we're not watching him. Now, I have this, oh gosh, dang it, I did that. All right, sorry. I grabbed this one too, and I didn't mean to do that. That's why that was like that. I'm going to grab this. It's going to undo a bunch of times. And then I got to reselect these pieces. Probably didn't select those in the first place. All right, do I have anything else selected here? Okay, so we're going to go back to this view, and I think it was right view. And then it was just rotated just slightly from this angle. Okay, and now I'm going to do a planar map from that view, and then I'm going to scale that way down, because in Max it just makes it really enormously big. And I'm going to try and make it you know, roughly the same size as the other polys on here, right? I think this one has a lot of windows and stuff, so maybe we'll give it just a little bit more fidelity, right? A little bit closer to these ones here. Okay, so I have it this size, and then I believe this was the one that matches up to it, which was all of this guy here. This is the left side that we're not going to use, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale down this size so that this top matches this bottom. I'll bring this guy out first, right? And then I'll, because I got the UVs on this one correct, I'll bring this one down to here, and then I'll kind of go like this. So now, okay, I got these UVs and these UVs dialed in, right? If I select this whole right side here, it's selecting that because this is an overlap on that. But and you'll want to copy this geometry and mirror it over there. But basically, by separating this from this, you don't get distortion in here anymore. Now, could you put this back? You could, if you find the right angle to make it fit within this. So if I take this and I bring it over to here and I scale it down and I try to get these corners to kind of match up, this bottom one and this top one, I think that's a little bit too big, and somewhere like that. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it the other direction so that this matches this. Okay, now this is showing me the exact angle I need so that this isn't distorted. I'm not going to touch the UVs on this. I'll only move the UVs on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to where this middle one is going to be my anchor point, and I'm going to make this one match to there, and I'm going to make this one match to there, or this side match to there, right? So first I'm just going to scale it along the X to try and get a little bit closer, okay? And now I'm going to scale it along the Y to try and get a little bit closer. just bring it down just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm a little bit closer here. And now I can take these verts, okay, and I can bring them right over like that. And then I could take this vert, which is actually on this side, it's part of this piece here. And I can bring him right over, whoops, I'm gonna bring both of those right over here, okay? And then I'm gonna take this little vert and I'm gonna bring him right here. And you don't see the distortion. Oh, you do see some distortion on the windows there, but that's this issue, right? That's not the outer issue. And this part is distortion free, and that's going to be the real obvious piece, right? So we're going to go, see here, this, and that's not going to weld completely because you've got both sides on there, but I can hit the weld and it'll weld one of the sides, the other one's still going to show a seam though. That's just a little temporary thing. These windows will need to be fixed better. I didn't do that through this process, which is scale in, bring it to here, grow it again, scale in, right, no, let me see here. I think this guy's gonna have to go here, and then get scaled in here, and let me see. I think that's probably pretty close. Oh, this guy, yeah, okay, so this edge here, let me see, can I loop select? I think that's gonna be scaled. Oh, okay. All right, well, yeah, I don't know. A little bit tricky the way that's set up, but I think that might work. Maybe these will come out just a little bit, because you want to leave a little bit of space there. If these two are overlapping, it'll mess up your, oh, now we're distorting the rest of that. So we have to work from the inside rather than from the outside. So we'll just take all these inner bits here and we'll just scale them in like so. And that will make it so that this part stays non-distorted, but it'll distort a little bit of this inner part in here, which is the lesser of two evils. So if you want to consider it that way. What the heck? I wonder if we can do it like this. Well, it's, yeah. All right, well, this is the lesser of two evils. So, in my opinion, anyway. So that's how I would do this window too. Again, just take and scale this middle one in, bring it down so it doesn't rest on the others. Then grow the selection. Actually grow it, I guess once. No. Wait, no, and then take these inner bits. That's the part that I was missing. All of these, not these top ones, okay, and not these outside ones, but all the inner bits, and then scale those in. And then this one, I think he goes here, something like that, so that he looks correct. Yeah, so that's how you fix those windows. And probably the same with these. Oh no, that's connected, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, so here we are, and that's how we get rid of that distortion. Sorry for the 40-minute video.